People ask me frequently in the groups, and they think that ancestors, they were simple people, and not at all. Ancestors, they were sophisticated people. They wanted to have not only good quality of life, but they wanted to have the best of the best as possible.
We might be doing less episodes right now, but we're not cutting back on the epicness of them. Today I'm talking to Mallku. So this episode is really to share with you one of my most impactful teachers. I call him a rebel shaman, even though he would totally not identify as a shaman. For Westerners, it's the easiest way for me to describe it because he is an incredible Wachumero, a credible teacher, and doesn't follow the status quo. He has really developed his unique path, his unique connection, and invites us to embrace our own cultures, even when imperfect, as we awaken from, for some of us, a long dormant dream in our ancestry. So in the midst of this episode, we're going to talk about the breathtaking journey in the Andes that we're going to take together. We talk about some of the Incan traditions. We talk about some of the predecessors that really left behind a legacy of technological, spiritual achievements like Machu Picchu. So I'm excited for today's episode. Mallku speaks from within the essence of the Andes, really unveiling its spirituality in a way that transcends intellectual and material. And if you'll close your eyes and breathe, you will feel it. So I'm excited for y'all for today's episode. Yeah. I mean, I could go on for days. He's an author. He's an international speaker. He speaks like 946,000 languages. He's dope. Check out today's episode. Share it with a friend. He's got some perspectives that can get a little edgy for folks, and that's what I like. Let's get into today's episode. Kick it, Corey.
Whether you're a life coach, therapist, biohacker, invested in wellness, or in the healthcare profession, if you have an intention to work in psychedelic spaces, you're in the right place then. If you're called, get involved. But first, get informed. Let's talk the 4 N's: intake, intention, in-space integration. Leading to deeper transformations. Psychedelic Coach Podcast, Talk Cole. Walk you through the process, it's all possible. Leave space for the follow through. Most importantly, integration is not optional.
There's no way to really articulate the impact this man, his family, his teachings, his perspective, the impact it's had on my life. So I'm excited for all of you to join me to go experience way more in the beautiful land of Peru, the Andes, the stunning area of not only Cusco, but the high mountains. So give it up unless you're driving, keep your hands on the steering wheel, but at least give a beautiful welcome to my dearest friend, Mallku. Hey, Mallku, welcome.
Hey, Cole, thank you for connecting again and offering this opportunity to share this magic land with all the people that are receiving the call. And somehow this land has the ability to provoke a lot of shifts in people, amazing opportunities for awakenings, initiations, transformations. And this is important in this special time that we are now. Transitions and transitions, solar events, eclipses, approaching soon, solstice. Then from European heart, having a call here in the Andes, we are waiting for you.
There's something about every time I get off the plane in Cusco, it's like my batteries feel like they recharge. There's an energy in my body I haven't felt anywhere else in the world. And I don't know if you remember this, and I don't even know if I really shared it, but on the first trip Tan and I took to Peru, and we came early so that we could come see some other sacred sites with you before the rest of the retreat people. And you took us, I think we were like going to Sacsayhuaman, and we were on this big field, and you told us to close our eyes and start walking. So we close our eyes, and I'm taking step by step by step Then you were telling a story about the area, an ancient vision type visualization. And we got to the edge of this hill, and you said, "Now open our eyes." And there was a split second that I could see people in either a market or a gathering or something. And you said, "And welcome back." And there was a moment that in my body, it felt like welcome home. And I feel that in my cells when I say it. And that was the beginning of the trip that you married Tot and I at Machu Picchu Mountain, to looking down on Machu Picchu. I feel called for more people to come really connect to the energy of the land. And from the moment that I met you, I tell people, I'm like, well, he's like a rebel shaman. And I know not necessarily shaman the word, but when I'm simplifying it for people, I'm like, he's a rebel and disruptor like we are. So he doesn't necessarily go with the mainstream news. I loved and do love going to the sacred sites with you. And so I'd love for you to share what you've seen being in Peru, being a facilitator guide of Huachuma, a Huachumero, to be a curator of connection for these master teachers, what you've observed since it became more of a touristic attraction versus learning, a opening. Just to give people a little more perspective about you, whatever's on your heart that you'd like more people to know, that there is more to Peru than ayahuasca in the jungle. And not that that doesn't have a beautiful place, but everyone's not meant for the jungle.
Absolutely. Probably the main reason that societies develop in this territory is because the energy, because the frequencies, because what they could achieve in short periods. And examples of that, we have the great civilization of the Incas. Before the Incas, of course, a few others, but the Incas probably are receiving the big credits because that was the society that the Europeans encountered. And when they met the Incas, they were so surprised to meet incredible people creating an amazing society that are still the proof of the great evolution of these people, like Machu Picchu. And many of the people want to come here because exists Machu Picchu as the big creation of this amazing society. So the Incas, or most of the ancient societies, they didn't arrive to do what they did because they were continuously using ayahuasca, huachuma, or whatever. What was the main tool for them to understand the mechanics, the physics, the spirit, the energy of all this was themselves through practice, meditation, through reverence, respect. This is why from long ago until now, Pachamama, as the feminine energy of the planet, is present. And this we cannot remove. And we don't need to be a native from this land, because as you said, the first time that you landed, you felt something in this land. And this is the frequency of Pachamama. And probably more than ever now, people like you are more open to recognize the achievements that all this society did. This is why in moments of meditation with people like you, we're saying, welcome back. Welcome back. This was your home. So it's time for other awakenings in yourself. Since I was a boy, I was very interested in these incredible wonders, what they did, our ancestors. And I started looking for explanations and information, and the few literature that exists in the time. I'm talking about the 80s, and in that time was little. And what existed was more a kind of touristic explanation in relation to traditions, in relation to certain practices that our ancestors didn't have. You know, that those were practices made by the locals, and the local population continued to be local understanding without necessarily changing their lives as the great examples as our ancestors did, the Incas or other great societies. Then the conclusion was that I needed to dive in other levels of energies in order to reconnect, to work hard in myself, into meditation, into observation, into adventuring. And it was a moment that happened, this beautiful connection where Pachamama touched me in other level. And this took me to understand a lot of things. And as a result of part of that is sharing in my books amazing discoveries about the ancient technologies, ancient practices, and all that. When I was discovering all that, of course, what I saw here from my neighbors, from the residents, the local population, the indigenous groups, and all that was totally opposite. And then I went deep into what was the Inca understanding, and I discovered that our ancestors, for sure, they were not traditional people at all, because a tradition in the time became a prison. If you are in a prison, you cannot evolve. And if the Incas did everything that they did, that was because they were free people. They were ready to understand, let's invite, let's provoke in others the possibilities to awake and help us. This is why they worked as a community. So they were not simple people, radical people, the wise people in that time. They understood they needed help from other great minds. And great minds exist all over in the four corners of the world. This is why Cusco organized festivities. And in these festivities, the intention was to not only surprise the other native populations in the Andes, but also to receive other groups where other specialists could arrive to Cusco. And those specialists, they could bring other new discoveries, other new ideas, other possibilities to improve what they've been doing already. And if any of these people could bring to the capital, to Cusco, new ideas in order to help to achieve things faster, better, with big results, all these people were invited to stay to teach them. So understand that this eliminates completely all this simple speech that accommodates very well for the mystic tourist traditions, you know, and they come to celebrate traditions. Tradition is a prison. That's not helping you to evolve. And then we have to understand that if we do, we will start gaining our freedom. And freedom is the most precious element that I understood from our ancestors. Because when you are free, you can create. And if all of us, we are free, we should learn to respect each to the other. And this is one great step in human evolution. Because when we start surviving, we do not only suffer, but also we fight, and we are continuously in stress to survive, which is the practice of tribes. A tribal practice basically is a practice of surviving. But when the tribes are meeting and they have this beautiful moment of connectivity between them, and when they gather, they can create the base, the foundation for community. And community is the big step in human evolution. This is why I am separating, and always did, from the tribal approach to the community evolution. Because community is integrating much more, is another scale. And when communities are meeting other communities, As a result, we will create society, civilization, and the society offers something great without any justification for the actual societies. But this should be the result, which means the gathering of everybody, free people, creating a free vision of life with respect. So far that with freedom, we could manifest the best from us. And in a society, we are meeting all kind of specialists in a society. And because we are all different in a society, all these differences can help to evolve. And this is the time that we are now. We are a global society. Even if some radical nations, they want to separate, the intention is to understand that from society, we should become universal because we are not alone in this space. And our ancestors, they had this amazing understanding. This is why tradition is something that is not helping. I understand fully the classic mystic speech that people they are coming to celebrate. And this is a common question that comes to me as well from most of the people. Are you a traditional or are you following what your grandfather did? I don't need to justify myself. And I don't need to point my parents, my grandfather, or whoever. This is why we have to be cautious in the way we interpret history and how we navigate with the mystic currents. The mystic currents are so simple, and this is what is spreading internet. And mysticism also provoked since the 90s, late 90s, in the 2000 time, the Machu Picchu and, the ayahuasca thing. People became somehow depending of ayahuasca. And if that will be the path, then our ancestors, they should be people in this consumption regularly. And didn't happen. Even now, in the native land, even now, which is the Amazony from where it belongs, the ayahuasca from the jungle, the indigenous, the tribes over there, some of them that use, they do not drink every day, every week, every 2 weeks, every month. They have occasionally when they need to do important agreements or work as a group, but not because there is a problem with these neighbors or no, right. But right now, ayahuasca is becoming like the reason why people they are coming here, and there is much more. And I am sure that after all the experiences that you had, right now probably resonates much more with you or the level of energy, the inner level, the spiritual level frequency. And the retreat that is being proposed for next March with you and all the beautiful people that are joining has the intention to provoke shifts because this land offers to you inspiration, and with inspiration you can provoke a new understanding for what you need. When we hike in the amazing centers, when we have close experiences with this realm, technically we are continuously inspired by the beauty, the energy. And if you are working with yourself, of course, you will take a big advantage of this. So consider that a kind of retreat like this is not a touristic journey, is much more than that, because we'll offer to you unique experiences of life, transformation. This land for sure will help you in many levels.
Mm-hmm. I think that when I have been telling people about this particular retreat in Peru, I've told them, you'll know if it's something to lean into because you'll feel it in your body. You hear the words, you hear, yes, I've wanted to go to Peru and I didn't want to do ayahuasca. That hasn't been calling me, but Peru has. And I feel many people have felt the call to Peru thinking it was ayahuasca. And I've had beautiful experiences with ayahuasca. And some of my most impactful moments were when we would stop and meditate somewhere, when we would stop and really breathe into the land. Going to Tipon, going to More, going to some of these other places that from a busy Western mind might seem boring to just sit. But the truth is, it's creating space for what's to come. The truth is, when you slow down, you allow inspiration, and so many people are reactive and afraid and rushing and busy that they are missing the inspiration in front of them all the time. Every time I go to Peru, it slows everything down so that I can receive more inspiration. I feel this trip is an invitation to find that divine connection of the self, what is our true essence, and how the land can inspire us through the space, through the conversations and the meditations for people that find themselves on like a master path. They want to teach, they want to share, they want to continue to grow and really embody it versus just say it. And so, from what you've observed, and you talked at the beginning about some of the astrological shifts and the eclipses and things, what do you believe? What are you thinking when there seems to be so much chaos and fear?
There is a big power in the planet. And the planet, of course, was following a disorder way, still in a disorder, because the kind of education guidance that exists all over. What happened is that this planet doesn't belong to anybody, you and others. You know that we had the ability already to opening other portals. We should connect in order to grow and to resist. The master places will invite us not only to vibrate physically, but also to receive messages, to sit, to close our eyes. As you said, in a society, opportunity to have a personal retreat for almost 2 weeks. This will offer incredible things. And that's included Lake Titicaca. And Lake Titicaca is here in the Andes, energetically the female pool of the planet. And we are having unique moments to connect with communities and there to really revive other cosmic frequencies, because the temples that exist over there are temples aligned to important cosmic events. Then we should take advantage of all of that. Even if now there are a lot of restrictions in the master places on the vortex, we still have chances to do a lot. We were recently with some people from Europe, and they've been visiting Egypt, and we were surprised that the administration of the places were so radical that were not allowing people to do inner practices. And this is because all the regulations that exist. But here in this land, we still have unique chances. The decision to come in a personal retreat for transformation. 2 weeks, impeccable, because the places, because the energy created for, and then manifest resistance. Then I have hope. The people that they need to be here, they will. You know, there are many that they need to leave, but there are still many that are here present. So then let's maintain integrity in our home, which is our planet. You represent, these beautiful people as a couple, as an example. a combination of energies in a beautiful way. And let's provoke this in many other people. And this will help to change the reality in our planet. We need more happy people. And this land is still friend to help to really provoke shifts. Then I'm happy to receive you. March technically is coming soon. Then please
I
join us.
know. When I think about our first time coming was in 2015. And what you said is we still have time to access some of these initiation points, these vortex, and really be with it. I've watched every time I return, more of Machu Picchu's closing, closing, closing. And for anyone listening, that's how it's happening with these sites all over the world. You keep putting it off to go to these sites, you will miss it. As governments and places say that they're there to preserve, what they're doing is blocking us out from those connection points on some level. And if you've been talking about coming to Peru, now is the time. Even since COVID, when we went this last time, when we were with you and we had to stand on these separate little pods and wear the mask and glasses and the shield and on the plane, 2 masks. And there was just all these restrictions. I've watched more of these sites get closed down where you can't access certain parts of a temple or certain rooms or certain areas. What would you tell them to listen for, or what do you believe Pachamama in Peru has waiting for people that want to explore this alchemy, this master path, this expansion?
People, they should relearn to trust more in themselves, to trust more in nature. Nature is being the main ally for human being since long ago. And she's been not only the mother, but also the beautiful being who is being protecting and guiding us. You have to keep in mind that the radical declaration that was announced in March 2020, lethal virus was spreading in the world. And lethal means deadly, which means we shouldn't be here, because a mortal thing is something that's coming and taking life, especially human. And here we are. And this is nothing to do with the people. By different circumstances, were forced to leave the planet. But consider that the humanity, the population continues here. Then it's time for you for not follow what the radical administrations are telling to you to follow. Because it's been so ridiculous saying to you in that time, double mask, shield, and everything. But technically, when you've been traveling or eating, so how you've been eating in the different places? You need to remove all that to eat. And after that, you need to be in mask again. So please, listen much more to you. And if you don't have all the answers, ask for help to the divine being, Pachamama, Huiracocha, Pachacamac, or the great spirit that resonates with you. Ask for help, because the divine being will send to you the answers, the teachings, the guidance that we need. And if you have the chance to join us, come here to learn something else. We will be happy to provoke other amazing learnings in yourself and learn from you as well. Many as you are coming to this land with open heart, so far that the master places resonate so high that you are capable to understand and going with respect. And this is why, because many of you that are in the four corners of the world, many of you, you've been part of the creators of those places. Right now, we're just returning. This is why I cannot separate you because you are white skinned or because you are from other land and you are people with no respect to ancestors. No, not at all. You show it to me. You proven me in the last decades that you have much more respect than the locals themselves. And this is worldwide. You are going to the Maya land, you are going to the Egypt land or to the Hindu land or what. The locals are not necessarily the people, the smartest, in order to respect what their own ancestors did it. And people like you, when you come, you start walking with such respect and gratitude. And those are important practices for you to change. Then my message will be, believe more in yourself. There are amazing keys. If here we are, then is a reason. Honor that reason. Let's prove that we can make the difference. And I am happy to continue celebrating and honoring because Pachamama is being always my mother guide, my main teacher, the great spirit of Viracocha as well, the great spirit of Pachacamac, elements, the power animals, and all those being my companions during my life. And now I am in the period that I am ready for more celebrations. I've been working hard and I will continue, but there is something to learn. When you do work that you like, you enjoy, it's not doing any kind of punishment activity. It's an action that is helping you to grow. And what I do is with pleasure here. What I do is from my heart. And I am happy to share with all of you all this.
Today I'm not wearing my power pendant, but I do. I was going to go grab it just for this, but anyone that sees me in the States, I always wear it. I actually bought like 4, but I sent 2 to people. I felt it was their necklace, not mine. And it's something that you do feel it in everything that you do, Mallku. How many years would you say you've been on this path of self-discovery and trust and connection intentionally with Pachamama?
Since I was a little boy, I had already a connection and understanding so far that the spiritual approach was not new to me, was not a revelation to me. It's been part of my path my entire life. And that took me probably to be in tune with Pachamama's frequencies in order for her to help me to open my inner vision to discover amazing things that are not written nowhere. And because I had the ability to reconnect, then I didn't have necessarily personal teachers saying like this, even if I met many, even if I share many things and I learn as well, it's been always Pachamama my first guide and the Great Spirit. And when I was in the mountains, big part of my life, and when I was alone and I was meditating, it's been always the spirit of the planet, the Pachamama somehow manifested. You know? This is why I had a big trust on her, and I continue, but I continue learning as well, because in the planet we have great people. I honor humankind more than ever, because there are people that are born in this cycle of life in order to help humankind. Then let's be conscious about our mission. And I always invoke to Pachamama to continue giving me energy to do my mission on earth. Together we can help to transform humanity, to preserve our home, Our planet is a unique pearl in this solar system, in this part of the planetary conjunction. Then let's honor that. Our ancestors, they had so much respect for Earth and for heaven. They had this understanding, not only for human life, but also in a terrestrial level, and this will go to a cosmic level. And this is very special for that. All of us, we are coming for a mission. If you don't have clarity still about that, you can do meditation, you can ask to Spirit, and then clarification will be manifest. Part of our contribution here is to help people to discover, to embody the energy for mission on Earth. Of course, when we land in this territory, an important aspect is the declaration for your intention, how your emotions are going, how your mind is renewing, so far that all together could be a package. And like this, at the end, understand that there is a reason. Even if your mission could be just being happy at home, being happy with your family, even that participates in order to help others to change life. We need more happy people, more happy couples. All this will impact faster the planet.
Mm-hmm. I love that you just said that, because so much of what I'm watching is people dimming their laughter and their joy because other people are in fear and scared. And I had someone post on Facebook, and they pretty much said people need to stop posting anything that is basically not about war, that we need to know what's going on. And I tell people, especially those close to me that are either Israeli or Palestinian or Jewish, or, that have family and friends that are still there, that the true freedom is both, that you can carry your sadness, your disappointment, your fear, and love and laughter and happiness. It's both. That is freedom. Because if society forces you to only focus on the war, of course you will feel at war within yourself, because you have to oppress love. You have to oppress joy. You have to suppress, and that makes the body sick. If we can't allow laughter and fun, quite often that just tells me how little time someone has spent in a third world or post-war country, because there's places I've been where there's still tanks going down the street and children playing and laughing. Now, do I want it to be that way? No. But to recognize that us weighing down sadness for what we can't change immediately, I cannot go save everyone in Palestine right now and just extract them, or from Israel. What I can do is hold space for my friends to cry who are scared, but I invite them to come connect, where we can hold space and love and still laugh and hold both. And I think now what this retreat in Peru offers is to come expand your spiritual ability to hold both, to hold the world in the sadness, despair, and be the light to remind people how to get home to themselves, how to come back to the earth and ground. Because the way that people are getting caught up in the chaos, they're creating trauma in their children by not being present, by not going out to play with them because they have to watch the news again. Versus read the news if you need to, don't watch the imagery. It's built to manipulate you and make you feel a certain way. So if someone feels like they need information, read about it, don't watch it. And remember that our home environment right now, we're creating what our children will have to heal from 20 years from now, 10 years from now. And if we let go of that innocence, that's what most people are trying to go back and receive, is the moment they lost that innocence of childhood, of laughter, of play. And we are perpetually creating that in society. If we only focus on the war in the world, we disconnect from our children's happiness, from their play, and we force them to be serious. We force them to not have the curiosity of nature. So then they are stuck to their devices. They're stuck in what drives them out of fear versus inspiration. And most people in society are led by desperation. You have to create space for inspiration. And that's what I believe this trip is really calling for me, is anyone coming on this trip, I'm asking them to bring their laptops, because these are leaders who are using intelligence of the internet to spread their messages. So I want them to be able to document the messages and use Chat GPT and AI and have a ritual as you work. Call in your guides to support you as you write, as you inspire in inspiration, not write about it later, so that we can really transfer that frequency to people. Because the only thing that we can do to shift it is to be it for those who are more drawn to that than fear. Because the war is not new. I've lived in Israel. I've had friends that are Arab and Palestinian and Serbian. I've sat with families who watched their brother get killed in Kosovo, right? Watched their father get shot, traded a life for a pack of cigarettes. Remember, like you said beautifully, that if we have the privilege to get this inspiration, for me, it is an obligation for me to do. Because if I don't remind people, if I don't help them find their way back home to connection with the earth, the now, the present moment, who will? Not the government, not the churches, not any other system I've found. But when someone will slow down and find the same inspiration in a butterfly as a fly landing on them, for me, Peru slows things down, and gifts, when you show up with reciprocity, when you show up with attentiveness, when you show up with open arms to receive and to give, and to bring the messages that you receive back to Westerners who forget. And you've said before, not everyone can go to the jungle. It's not designed for society, like in Iquitos, a place that is not meant for society. And instead of all of society trying to penetrate and take from the jungles or the other lands, it's remembering that we can bring the messages back, and not so many people having to go and infiltrate and take, but to actually come and sit, observe, absorb, and wait for that guidance like you talked about. I could talk to you endlessly. And the other thing for people coming to Peru is bring extra money, because you're going to want all of Mallku's books. Last time I brought home 5 and I gave 4 away as gifts right away. I was like, crap, I should have bought more. Because your approach, when we walk to the sacred sites, the storytelling that you do, the shares, the words, the things that come, like I found some old recordings, Mallku, from like 2016, I think, of just some of the meditations that you did. I'm determined to have those put into music with some of my other musician friends to bring that frequency, that vibration, the energy of that moment to more Westerners who can't ever come to Peru. And Peru is one beautiful place. I found that by connecting to Peru reminded me how to connect here in Texas and remember that I'm connected to the earth. I'm here with the master teachers in this North American land in what is now called Texas. And so for anyone listening, it shows you something about yourself. It shows you something different. And that's why I keep going back to Peru. There's lots of places in the world I like to go. I just went and swam with humpback whales 2 weeks ago, not even. So if you're listening, if you've come to this conversation and you feel it in your heart, don't wait. I don't know when I would do this trip again. This feels like a initiation for me. I can't speak for anyone else, but this feels that I'm being called because there's something that will or is being asked of me that I don't understand yet. But I know that when I show up with an open heart and I'm present, I get information, whether through dreams, whether through realization, or whether through conversation. And people have been separated for so long that many have forgotten the power of community when it's like minded people with a similar passion and purpose. And I would love for all of you to meet Mallku, because I'll tell you, everyone that does, that comes through me, where I'm like, no, wait till you start to have him share what he really thinks. Then it gets good.
I remember a few things, of course, in the different journeys that we had. And I remember that he always had some kind of confrontations here. And this is interesting because also teachers, they can be exposed to new realms. And then if some of you are people in other levels, as you said, call that if they need to bring their computers, their laptops and all that, bring it. There is nothing wrong in all that to also be connected in some moments. But when we are in the precious centers, we are in the precious centers. You know? And this is something that we have to learn to separate, but also honor who we are. And right now, I offer gratitude for technology because thanks to technology, we are capable to do this, sharing, talking. And people ask me frequently in the groups, and they think that ancestors, they were simple people. And not at all. Ancestors, they were sophisticated people. They wanted to have not only good quality of life, but they wanted to have the best of the best as possible. So far, that is being promoted in this land in the ancestors' time. The experience of abundance continuously. So far that everybody needed to be free in certain levels in order to help. It was not absolutely free action everywhere, but is being freedom part of their practice. So far that when all these people, they could manifest things, people they could use to invent, to discover, to produce the best quality food, to produce the best techniques in order to make crops, to select, to prepare land, to do their constructions that after centuries are still standing. And the remains that we have in many of the places are witnessing all these incredible productions. Then the invitation is there. Come here if you are somehow a teacher and you need to improve something else or to have an amazing retreat in incredible land, come here. And we are happy. And if you are also ready for little adventures, because I love to do that, then great discoveries will be. And important, Lake Titicaca, that's also a unique opportunity for you to have a cold, freezing bath in this amazing lake as a personal baptize, a bath of purification. Yeah? Then come join us. We will be happy. And if we need to give more clarification about the itinerary in other moments, I will be happy to share, to explain more in the detail.
Mm-hmm. What is the experience level, or how in shape does someone have to be? Like, can you explain, is it rigorous hiking, or what would you explain to someone for them to know, or if they're concerned about these adventures?
No, it's nothing radical. It's a medium, but even there, you don't need to be a well-fit person, but at least start doing some work. Give more opportunity to your physical temple. Recognize your own capabilities. Do, of course, your medical test as well to check how you are, but it's nothing radical. comfortable shoes. Everything is feasible. We're not making campings on things for a few days to have hard treks. No, no, no. Are an hour walk, 2 hours walk, 15 minutes walk. And the elevation, of course, arriving Cusco is already high. Then if you are in Cusco, it's because you have to be in the other parts. Lake Titicaca is higher, but if you are in Cusco, you should be in Lake Titicaca. Uh, then at least be mental open to walk, to honor your physical tempo. And welcome to the retreat.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I've been telling people is there's shoes that we get here that we recommend that are trail running shoes. So they've got good grip. So if it's wet or, a little muddy, but they're light shoes, but it's all that you need to bring. And please, people, don't pack a bajillion things. I have a packing list for you. I tell you exactly what kind of things to layer. It's really about layers in the Andes. During the day, you're talking 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit-ish, but as soon as the sun goes down, it can get cold. So I tell you exactly what to pack, how to layer. I take one backpack that goes as a carry-on, and I carry one personal item backpack. Just because you're coming for 2 weeks, you don't pack 14 outfits, my friends. Okay. And I'll tell you, have a backpack, not a rolling suitcase. And we'll talk more about that if you decide to come. But that's the thing is I've really put together an exact list, what to pack, what kind of products are safe for the environment as we go, what kind of bug sprays so that we don't affect the environment. When I take people places, I want it to be that we are not having a detrimental consequence. We've done everything to make it as simple as possible, as easy to say yes logistically. You don't need to get vaccines to go to the high Andes. It's not a requirement. Obviously, talk to your doctor. I'm not going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but there's not yellow fever up there. You're not getting a ton of mosquitoes because of the altitude. I personally never do the vaccines that they talk about on the internet before I go because I'm not down in the jungles. I'm up high. So feel free to hit me up with those conversations. I would love for those of you that are called. I want to really preface that this is not a healing retreat where you're coming to fix something. This is to come because you're hearing that call. You've been hearing the call of Peru, but the medicines that people are selling is not what you wanted to come for. And we may have an opportunity for you to work with Wachuma. We won't decide that now because your physical body is already coming on a journey. Come heart open. Come mind open. Come open to getting everything that you need. I'll tell you how to prepare, and I'll also hold space for you the month after as you integrate these experiences. As Mallku said, I'll have a space for technology, and when we go to these sites, we are completely in these sites, total presence. We can really inspire through both with total presence in each, giving each the attention that they deserve / honoring the process. So thank you so much, Mallku, for your time, your presence, everything that you've created. Thank you for doing me and Ta's wedding high above the city of Machu Picchu, which we didn't even know if we'd be able to do. We were like, well, if someone stops us, 'cause you're not supposed to do rituals there. But to see what that's created, how the condor and pumas and snakes and hummingbirds have inspired so much of our work and what we do. Here in Texas, we actually have another type of vulture that's always present. So I always feel that mutual energy. I have now the hummingbird tattooed on my arm. Yeah, it's so much of my life is inspired by parts of you, our experiences together. And this is my call to anyone that's feeling like they are a part of that condor energy, being a part of nature's cleanup crew. There's dead and dying systems that we are helping to evolve actively. by allowing ourselves to be guided by other teachers than only the master plants, but the master animals, the master teachers in all forms. And if you're hearing that call, you've been feeling you have this purpose and this knowing you're just not sure what to do, but this feels like a next step, hit me up. I'll put the link inside of the notes so that you can get your information. I tell you how to get travel insurance, all the things that you need are in there. Any final words for today? I think I said that 3 times by now, but I actually mean it this time.
No, thank you, Cole, for the invitation. It's always very nice to see you, to feel you, and soon to meet you again, and to Ta, who is also a brother in this amazing path. And I want to spread the energy from Pachamama to all of you. Pachamama to radiate her blessing, her love and light to all of you, and invoking to the Great Spirit of Viracocha to illuminate continuously your path, and to the Great Spirit of Pachacamac to revive in yourself your mission on earth. I am happy to share this with all of you, and thank you, Sister Cole, for this invitation.
That's all for today, folks. I hope to see you in Peru, and if not, hopefully I'll catch you at one of our other events or another magical experience. So you can hear us talking about Peru. What does that mean for you? So right now you can secure your spot by leaving a $1,500 deposit. Now, leaving a $1,500 deposit now means that you have 2 more payments until Peru, or you can pay in full and save. So as of right now and until November 1st to come on this trip is $3,997 for 2 weeks, y'all. $3,997 for 2 full weeks in Peru. It doesn't cover all of your food, but it covers most of it. It does cover all your lodgings, all of your travel, train tickets, everything within Peru does not cover flight to Peru. So if you want more information, hit the link here in the show notes. If you break it up into payments, it's 3 payments of $1,500. That's $1,500 right now to secure your spot. The next payment is January 1st, and you bring the final payment with you in cash to Peru for some of the communities that we pay directly in cash, because that's how we got to get it to them, y'all. It is still a third world country, you know what I mean? So check out that link. Let me know if you have any questions. You can shoot me a message at team@condorcoach.com. Put Peru in the subject line. Otherwise, I'll see you there, fam. Now is the time. Hey fam, so you already know about the Condor approach, but did you know that every Monday we're doing something called Masterclass Mondays? It's totally free. This is to dive deeper into the parts of the psychedelic experience that nobody talks about. We're going to talk about why breakthroughs don't last, why breakdowns don't end. Every Monday we're going live with one goal in mind: to take big topics and turn them into actionable steps. So whether you're exploring psychedelics for healing or optimization, whether it's for personal growth, or you're just trying to navigate the complexities of being a human, we've got you covered. Go to masterclassmondays.com. It's totally free to sign up, and we'll see you live. Peace.
Integration is not optional.